Before Dr. John Watson became the esteemed companion of Sherlock Holmes, he led a life filled with its own set of adventures and challenges. Born John H. Watson in 1852, he hailed from a respectable family in the heart of England. His father was an accomplished civil servant, while his mother was known for her charitable work in the community. Growing up, Watson was exposed to a world of books and learning, fostering a deep curiosity and a love for knowledge. His early education took place at a local grammar school, where he excelled in both academics and sports. Watson's keen intellect and determination earned him a scholarship to the prestigious University of London, where he pursued a degree in medicine. It was here that he discovered his passion for the medical field, dedicating himself to the rigorous studies and hands-on training that would later define his career as a doctor. Through perseverance and hard work, Watson graduated with honours, ready to embark on a journey that would take him far from the comfort of his homeland. Little did he know, his path was about to cross with one of the most brilliant minds of the century, setting the stage for a partnership that would become legendary. CHAPTER1. Now let's delve deeper into the life of Dr. Watson, starting with his experiences during the Afghan War. Watson's medical studies at the University of London were challenging but rewarding. He faced a rigorous curriculum and demanding schedule. Despite the pressures, Watson's determination never wavered. His perseverance paid off, earning his medical degree with honours. Graduating marked the beginning of a new chapter for Dr. John Watson. Welcome, mystery lovers. Today we embark on the story that introduced the world to the one and only Sherlock Holmes. But before we meet the legendary detective, let's step into the shoes of another remarkable man, Dr. John Watson. Dr. Watson, a former army doctor, served with distinction in the Afghan War. His experiences on the battlefield, facing both danger and hardship, shaped him into the resilient and resourceful man who would become Holmes's trusted companion. A CHAPTER3. Before the war in Afghanistan, Dr. John Watson was a doctor in India. India was a really interesting place, full of different people and exciting things. When he got to Bombay, he was amazed by the busy streets, all the different cultures, and how friendly everyone was. CHAPTER2. But the peaceful time in India ended. The war in Afghanistan was starting, and Watson was told he had to go and fight. CHAPTER3. So feeling sad but brave, Dr. John Watson left India. He was ready to face whatever was waiting for him in Afghanistan. It's the year 1878. Dr. John Watson has just completed his medical degree in London and finds himself thrust into the chaos of the Afghan War. Little does he know, this journey will shape his life forever. After being injured, he embarks on a long recovery process, eventually making his way back to England, where a new chapter of his life awaits. After the brutal injury at the Battle of Maiwand, Dr. Watson was transported to a field hospital. The conditions were harsh, with limited medical supplies and an overwhelming number of wounded soldiers. Watson's wound was severe, and the pain was excruciating. He was treated initially by a fellow army surgeon who managed to stabilize his condition. Upon his return to the base hospital, Watson received more comprehensive care. The medical team worked tirelessly to clean and dress his wounds, preventing infection. Watson was administered a regimen of laudanum for the pain. As the physical healing progressed, the psychological toll of the war began to surface. Watson found himself plagued by nightmares and a pervasive sense of anxiety. The memories of the battlefield haunted his dreams. Despite this, Watson's resilience shone through. He began to engage in light physical therapy to regain strength in his injured limb. The process was slow and painful, but Watson's determination never wavered. The camaraderie of his fellow soldiers played a crucial role in his mental recovery. Sharing stories, providing support, and simply being there for one another helped Watson and many others to cope with their experiences. Though the physical scars would remain, it was the emotional and psychological scars that required the most healing. Watson's recovery was a testament to his strength and perseverance. Despite the odds, he managed to pull through, driven by a sense of duty and an unyielding will to live. This period of recovery would not only shape his future, but also prepare him for the challenges that lay ahead in his life. After his arduous recovery, Dr. Watson returned to England, finding solace in the bustling streets of London. Watson took up residence in a modest flat, immersing himself in the rhythm of urban life. Each morning, he would walk through the fog-laden streets, observing the diverse tapestry of London's populace. Little did he know, his life was about to take a remarkable turn with the impending meeting of a certain consulting detective. Dr. Watson's life took an unexpected turn when he met Sherlock Holmes. Their initial encounter was anything but ordinary. Introduced by a mutual acquaintance, Stamford, Watson was immediately struck by Holmes's peculiar demeanour and intense focus. Holmes was unlike anyone Watson had ever met. Tall and lean, with sharp features and piercing eyes, he exuded an air of mystery and intellect. Their first conversation was a whirlwind of rapid deductions and astute observations. Holmes's ability to infer details about Watson's life from seemingly trivial clues left him both astonished and intrigued. "Holmes, you have been in Afghanistan, I perceive." "Watson, how on earth did you know that?" This simple exchange marked the beginning of Watson's fascination with Holmes's methods. Watson's first impressions of Sherlock Holmes were a mix of awe, curiosity, and a budding sense of camaraderie. He couldn't yet foresee the adventures that lay ahead, but he knew that his life was about to change in ways he could never have imagined. In the year 1878, I graduated as a Doctor of Medicine. I was attached to the 5th Northumberland Fusiliers and sent to India. But before I could even settle, war broke out in Afghanistan. I followed my regiment to Kandahar, where I faced both honour and disaster. The experiences there would shape my future in ways I could never have imagined. In the infamous Battle of Maiwand, Watson suffered a near-fatal injury. A Jezal bullet shattered his shoulder, leaving him weak and vulnerable. But the horrors didn't stop there. From pain to illness, my body endured endless trials. Enteric fever struck me down, and it felt like death was the only escape. Months passed before I could even walk again. London, as Watson describes it, was a great cesspool, where the idlers and dreamers of the empire gathered. He took up residence in a small hotel in the Strand, living a meaningless, lonely existence. And then, fate intervened. At the Criterion Bar, Watson encountered a familiar face from his past. Young Stamford, a former colleague from his days at Bart's Hospital. Over lunch at the Holborn, Watson poured out his woes. Stamford listened intently, offering sympathy and, unknowingly, the solution to Watson's troubles. "Stamford, you're looking for lodgings? That's quite the coincidence. I know someone, though I'll warn you he's not your average roommate." "Watson, who is he?" Stamford, laughing. "A peculiar fellow. Brilliant, but eccentric. His name's Sherlock Holmes." Sherlock Holmes. The name meant nothing to Watson then, but it would soon come to define the rest of his life. Curious, intrigued, and perhaps a little desperate, Watson agreed to meet this mysterious man. What kind of man was Sherlock Holmes, and how would he change the course of Watson's life? Their meeting at a laboratory would mark the beginning of an extraordinary partnership. If you're intrigued by Dr. Watson's journey so far, hit that like, comment and subscribe button and join us for part 2, where we finally meet Sherlock Holmes. Don't miss it.